validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. Before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to Max the Poser. He was in the background chanting for a bit, so I really appreciate that. I seen that, and I was like, what? Look at that. Okay, so I got tied up into some things. And then I had to get my suit together because, I got to show up. I got to show up when I show up. I can't just pop in, whatever. I gotta get it right. And, so I literally worked on the script, got halfway through the script, had to change it because I seen some stuff and I was like, nah, that's not what I want to do. And then I had to change it up a little bit. So then after I finished doing that, then like I said, I got tied up and then I had to go do the script. Get the suit on so that I could come to the show. So I was like, hour late. I told you though, the one thing I did give you guys my word on, because I said I would try to be on time, but more days than not, I end up in a situation where I'm not on time because I got so many behind the scenes things going on. The members will get to see the things that are going on because, eventually we're going to have a behind the scenes cam running. Once I figure out how to tie that into the live podcast, I might have a behind the scenes thing going. until the live starts, which means a members I might have a pre-members only live, and then have the actual live go live right after that. I might actually tee that off. I'll figure that stuff out. Then everybody who's on the live will be able to see what's going on before the show actually starts when we go public. So special shout out again. I want to throw that out there to Max, because Max was here about 40 minutes before we got 20 something minutes before we got crunk, because I looked and I was like 10:39, and then we responded at 11:02. So I was like, all right. So, and Max is back. So throw out some special rapport for Max today, when Max decided to come in, and we've got our non-negotiables. We're going to be running for Max today. He has, what do you call George Floyd playing basketball? I would not see George Floyd playing basketball. Because for one, George Floyd was Mr. I Can't Breathe. So I would see him asthmatic. He said no Air Jordan. He probably didn't get a shoe deal before LeBron James, I can tell you that. That's an entertaining joke. That's almost like a Paul Walker skit. That never too soon for dark humor. But I appreciate your patience, Max. Special shout out to Joe, his dad. You guys are awesome. I always appreciate that. Now, today we're supposed to be talking about boosting your personal brand with deeper connections. So this is going to come from a little bit of a different spin, because I know that building connections with individuals is important, and building emotional bonds is important, which we've talked about on the show quite a few times in different perspectives. But this is a situation where you're building deeper connections and bonds with individuals that not necessarily are in a romantic relationship with you, but you do have other relationships. You have friendships there. These are relationships, relationships with your family, relationships with your colleagues and your business partners. And the difference between building a network of individuals that you can rely on versus just having a large quantity of people that know you, or having a large quantity of people that know of you that don't even know you, is the difference between having a successful network that you can build on versus just being popular. And I mean, I understand that popularity contests work with elections and other such debates, but when you're trying to be successful financially, when you're trying to be successful in your society, being popular is a small part of what you're trying to accomplish. Clearly, you don't want everybody to know you as being a dick, so you want to change that image. But the fact is that just being somebody that everybody knows is not enough to give yourself a positive brand. So we're going to be talking today about building your brand. Make sure that you guys know that we don't let the sun rise without going live. So we are live 7 nights a week. Even if we are an hour late today, we definitely start every day. We're typically online already by now. If we haven't already run a 1 hour and then started walking out the door by now, because we try to make it work. We typically give you guys about an hour to 3 hours on average. And then we have those rare moments where we can run full 5-hour shows. So that's when we have very deep and insightful topics that are highly interactive with all of the fans that are in the comment section. And that I don't have a prior engagement that's already scheduled at the 1 or 2 o'clock mark, right when we go to wrap things up, because we try to make sure that we get everything done that we need to get done, and then we tiptoe into making extra money to pay for the podcast, because the podcast is not free. People believe, influencers sit here and they just get paid to be on the cameras. No, there are behind the scenes costs for this stuff. We've got to invest in everything under the sun in order to make this what it is for you guys to look at it, no matter how primitive it may look. However, keep in mind we're operating on HD now, because remember we used to have that 720p. We're operating on that HD right now, and even though the internet situation is not in our favor, it's still working well enough for us to at least not have the drop frames that we was having a couple days ago. Be that as it may, tomorrow is going to be our members only show that's open to the public, so you guys can come and see that. We're going to be doing reactions to questions and comments from the fans. If in the event that anybody has a question, whether it's you guys from Twitch and or Twitter, you guys have questions, you guys can ask them in the comment section. They will come up onto the show as long as those questions are appropriate. So I see you guys on Twitch and the rest of you that are on Twitter, and I appreciate y'all for coming to the show. Special shout out to Danny Steffen and Red Void. I appreciate y'all for coming. Make sure that you know, you like, follow from those platforms, subscribe on YouTube, hit the like button on YouTube, and then mash those reaction buttons to show your support for the channel, because those are free ways to support the podcast. And for those of you that do have a little bit of capital, there's a bunch of ways, as you can see right there, that you can contribute to the channel in order to give us a little bit more of a oomph, because I mean, again, it isn't a free podcast for me. For you, it is. For me, it's not. But we're going to be giving you guys a lot of information every day of the week. And today is going to be one of those days. It's going to be self-improvement days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday is self-improvement days. Randomized questions on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, financial opportunities. But today I also took extra time, and that's another reason why I'm late, was to go and weed out the top 10 penny stocks or growth stocks that you guys can look into. Now, penny stocks are not going to be the kind of stocks that pay monthly dividends. I made sure to find out if that was a thing. Penny stocks or growth stocks. So they're specifically working on high value potential in the future. So you put your money down now, you'll see the massive inflation of the value of the stocks that you own, and then you sell it at the higher spot. There we go. We got Glenn. He said, have a good day, bro. I appreciate you, Glenn. It's good to see you. We definitely have the ability on our investment opportunities to find some that have high inflation of value. And once we do that, we can sell those. And then when we sell them, we turn a profit. So what we buy it in versus what we sell it at is our profit margin. So I talked to you guys about that. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we talk about different ways to invest, how the economy is affecting our investing, and which countries we can invest in. So we definitely put in the effort to look into different ways to put our money into investment opportunities so that we can make money for us. I have been watching the stock market as I invest. So I don't just tell you guys about this for the sake of talking to you guys about it. I also tell you guys about it because I'm doing it. So as I see those returns, I inform you guys of those returns, and I keep track of those returns. So as the market shifts, some of the best ones to invest in are the ones that I'm going to tell you guys about. And it depends on what kind of investor you are, because like Usman has come and talked to me about the non-debt based interest accounts, where they're companies that gain revenue some kind of way without gaining interest off of the debt kind of situation, which is an alternative platform for lending. I provided those Saudi Arabian accounts from England and other countries, that the companies that will allow you to invest based on religious beliefs, eco-friendly stocks that we've been talking about before. We've also talked about in England and Chile, Dubai, plenty of different countries. We've been talking about places to go, stuff to invest in. A lot of places are pushing for technology, AI, energy, and cryptocurrencies. So while there are some commonalities in a lot of the countries, there's different ways that there's different incentives and different opportunities in each one. And then we started talking about precious metals as well as precious minerals, diamonds and gold and silver and platinum and all of the other things that we can invest in. Specifically, heads up, you can throw your money into silver, because silver will give you, buying silver billiards or silver bars. I would do silver billiards because silver coins are valued by the coin. And it's easier to convert those into cash than to walk around with like 1 pound blocks of silver. But as silver is undervalued, the more silver that you have, while the rest of the world is buying up gold, the more silver that you have. When silver has a massive increase in value, you will have the silver, and everyone else who is not willing to let the gold go will have the gold, because countries are buying gold. Not too many countries are buying silver. So, but silver is valued at approximately 10% the value of gold. But it is highly sought after, equivalent to gold. So you will see silver be the second runner up when you run out of gold to access. So you want to get in on that while you still can. But today we're supposed to be talking about building our brands and our personal connections. So I appreciate you guys for coming to the show today. It's Glenn, Max Muhammad, and Max Opposer. So both of the Maxes, awesome for being here and waiting on Bayside to step in today. Typically, when you guys have the opportunity to fall in, like Cody, special shout out to Cody D, FinTech 101. When you guys have the opportunity to jump in, you guys have a lot of insight, and I really appreciate that. Very much value it. And I like giving you guys the information that you need to make yourselves more successful. Oh, real quick, I did make time to communicate with Dina about the Vino Cotto wine. We have the information, we have the ingredients together for the Fit Chef recipe, as we had discussed the other day. So I'm going to try to piece together the recipes as we were discussing them, because basically we're going to be trying to put together some bacon wrapped chicken enchiladas. Yeah, it's I took 3 different recipes from Fit Chef, and I'm going to be piecing it together to make one specific thing. I'm not going to do it live. I am going to try to record it and put it together and show you guys the final outcome, compare it with the Fit Chef recipes that they had, and then maybe do like a picture in picture where I'm showing the chicken from the Fit Chef dish and then the enchilada and this, that, and the third. And I'm trying to figure out how to do the editing on that one. But hopefully over the next week or two, we should get everything together. I'm waiting on Dina to tell me what's up with the Vino Cotto wine, because I'm going to be doing that video before I start getting busy again. And if the wine ain't here, I'm not going to be able to put that particular wine into the food. They are supposed to be a red wine. So if Vino Cotto doesn't provide the wine, then we'll just pick up another wine, because come Thursday, we will be making our way out to go and pick up something and add that to the recipe. So as soon as we figure out which, because Vino Cotto had a red wine that they were offering, and we will match that with a similar product that's not necessarily Vino Cotto, but we will still say, hey, grab you a bottle of Vino Cotto while you're looking at wines that are not Vino Cotto, because they didn't give us a bottle. I tried to buy the 2 bottles with the $50 that we got from Bayside. Special shout out to Bayside. But the fact is that their system with PayPal is not allowing PayPal accounts to make the purchase. I don't know what's going on with it. So I reached out to her about that. I explained to her the whole situation. And after the show today, I'll see if she gave me a response. And then after that, we'll just move on. I try to be a man of my word. And as a result, I don't like making promises that I can't keep, and I don't like not finishing what I start. So that puts me in a position where once I start doing something, I've got to see it through regardless of the consequences. Even if I know that this is not going to end well, I'm not going to quit on it. I'm going to finish it so that no matter what changes that I try to make, the best outcome that I can get out of catastrophic failure will come from all of the effort I put into trying to get the best outcome that I can get. So whatever happens, happens. But since I got to sit there and watch those enchiladas to make sure they don't burn, because we're going to bring those enchiladas to the show one way or another, burnt or not. See, if Kaya was here, she'd have been able to whip them bad boys up while we were doing the show. But since Cooking with Kaya, we haven't collabed yet. We're going to see what we're going to do. We're getting those up. And I know that we've been talking about the Fit Chef recipes and the Vino Cotto wine for almost a month now. But it's been a very busy month. One of the reasons why I'm not here on time on a regular basis. So be patient with that. Those videos should go up soon. And I'm going to try to, I think I'm going to do it in like a 16:9. That way I can do a picture in picture kind of thing and have the video for the creation of the recipe on one side and then have the actual recipes on the other side and showing the ingredients as I'm putting everything together. I think that might be a good way to do it. That way you guys can see the chaos that I made versus what it was supposed to look like and be like, and then we'll put it together like that. And then I'll be able to throw links to all of the products into probably going to be a 5 or 10 minute video because I'm going to have to do like step by step of each thing that I do, like cooking up the chicken, then, making the enchilada things, making all of the ingredients with it. If I'm going to be putting it on a bed of vegetables or whatever I'm going to plan on doing with it, like all of that stuff, I've got to piece together how I'm going to do each different thing that day. And then once I get all that stuff recorded, then what it was supposed to look like versus the monster that I made. Then we're going to be showing you, I got to put that in the video some kind of way, showing you guys the price scale of the portion sizes, because we already bought about $150 worth of groceries for this one meal. And we're going to see exactly how far it goes. And actually, it's probably going to go a long way because the ingredients that we got for this was supposed to be for one serving size, but I bought $150 worth of groceries, so we might actually have like 10 or 20 serving sizes. But we're going to do a price scale and be able to show you exactly how much each plate of food costs, so that you can kind of rationalize. Because remember, I told you guys one of the better ways to be fiscally responsible is to improve your cost effectiveness on eating. So portion control and then rational spending allows you to buy food, cook you meals, and have $5 per meal or $5 per plate with 2 plates per meal, which is less than $10, $5 to $10 per meal, where you're eating anywhere between $10 and $30 a day worth of eating, depending on how big your appetite is. And that's one of the things that we were talking about originally when we were talking about budgeting, because people are spending $50 per meal taking themselves out to dinner. And if there's ways that you guys can actually cook at the house and save 50% of that, that means that 1, you have more food that you can buy, or 2, you have more money that you can spend on something else like investing. 3, if you're already investing and taking the profits from your investments and you're putting those profits towards buying you home cooked meals, you have more time at the house, which means you have more effort to put into cooking, which means you have more money saved on eating, and you can eat better foods. So I thought that it was an all around perfect extension to what we were already doing on the show. And it's something that I want to say around once a week is going to be the habit that I'm going to build up to, but at least once a month is going to be the goal for right now with putting up the videos. And I'm going to do them as often as I can, but if I can do at least one video a month for right now, with the daily podcast that I'm already doing, then that's an accomplishment. And then when I can start doing like twice a month and then do like every week kind of thing, but I'm not going to do more than once a week because it's a lot of video editing. I still have to give Mr. Satellite his highlight reel. He asked me for, and I'm going to be trying to do that sometime this week as well. So as I get everything together, that's what we're going to be trying to accomplish. Be that as it may, let's go ahead and get everything started, because, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted you guys to join me on this journey where we're challenging ourselves to evaluate and alleviate our stressors and then enhance our personal brands, not through flashy marketing or clever slogans, but by forging real meaningful connections with the people around us. And the thing is that, yeah, like I got my slogan, and actually now I got two slogans because, you know, we have a daily thing that is like, well, we're not going to let the sun rise without going live. That's one slogan that we have. And, you know, ladies, we ask you every day of the week, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, we're going to keep asking you to make it make sense. So ladies, make it make sense. It's two key slogans on this show, one at the beginning and one at the end. And it's crazy because I wasn't expecting that until I read this. It's like, damn. And it's both of them are very catchy slogans that just came up out of nowhere based on the scenario that we're in. But the fact is that your brand isn't about catchy slogans. Your brand isn't about high price marketing, because a lot of people can hit it big from organic marketing. A lot of people can hit it big from genuine organic engagements. And that's where we are right now. So the big question that we have is, can we truly make a difference by focusing on relationships? And more importantly, can we all, you know, and that's a good question, because if that's all we got going on, we want to make a difference with ourselves and our personal lives, because we're not just doing this so that we can be famous. We're not doing this so that we can just be rich. The men strive to be rich so that men can have enough money so that they can find happiness with the woman that wants the standard of living that the man has. Subconsciously, that's what men are aiming for. No matter what a man lies and says to people about on a day-to-day basis, men strive for financial success so that the man can be deemed worthy of a woman that will give him the time of day for the rest of his life. Men do not strive for success for the sake of having success. They don't strive to be rich for the sake of being rich. They're not. Most people work from paycheck to paycheck, no matter what their income level is, not because they like working or because they like the money that they're getting. It's because they like the kind of relationship that they have from the quantity of money that they make. Even when you think about the higher tier men, the top 23% of men that marry women, they live with those women. Not all women do this, but for the sake of this particular discussion, the women that are cheating on a man with the tennis coach and this, that, and the third, in order for a man to have the type of income to have a 5 or 10 bedroom house, have a tennis instructor, a pool boy, you know, a landscaper, and all this stuff for your spouse to sleep with, to cheat on you, you have to think about the fact that he's got to be making enough money to afford a staff working at his house. And part of the reason why he's being cheated on is because he spends so much time at work that he's not giving his partner the time that she needs and deserves in order to be validated. Now, not justifying cheating at all, but the fact is that, you know, ultimately your effort in trying to be financially successful was self-sabotaging to your goal of having a meaningful relationship with that success, because you're focused on more success so that success could build you the lifestyle that you're never at home to experience. And that's one of the things that we're trying to change with this and that, is that you're building something that will give you the ability to stop. And that's the goal. You want to build the ability to stop. That way it runs itself. You're satisfied with the standard of living that you have. Your partner is satisfied with the standard of living that y'all have. And now when y'all get out of bed every day, y'all are trying to find something to do together, even if it is finding ways to make more money, make money for you. Okay. Who beeped? Was that you? Because that wasn't me. We don't have any emergency. Look, nah. We sitting over here wondering, bro. Between the three of us, one of us beeped. And y'all aren't supposed to beep. That took me through a loop because, I don't know. Either way, moving on. Let's look at reality, though. Today's professional landscape in 2025, 58% of consumers say that they feel misunderstood by brands, and a staggering 69% distrust brand advertising. So this connection crisis is widening as AI generated content floods our feeds, making genuine human connections more valuable and more rare than ever before. So your personal brand is now your most powerful asset, serving as your introduction long before you ever meet someone face to face. In fact, potential employers, clients, and collaborators are almost certain to search for you online before deciding to engage. What they find can make all the difference. And this is one of the things I've told you guys in the past. So, young bucks, while y'all here on the show, some of y'all like to come and troll and kick it and everything like that. And some of y'all come to learn something. Your social media image is what you need to think about. Even if you've got a bunch of dummy accounts that you use to troll people, the one that literally represents who you are, that has your face in it, that has, your name in it, that has, the people that you know in it. When people get on social media platforms and do a search, they search for you via facial recognition software. They search for you by name. They search for you by nickname. They search for you by location. They search for you through events that they are aware that you're in. And the advancements of technology aids people in finding ways to find other people. Matter of fact, I was actually able to do a deep dive on somebody just yesterday. Literally able to take a name, put it into a search engine, and get 32 photos of the person, where they work, and where they live. And this is insane that technology is like that, because that was a free data search. I did not have to get a subscription. I didn't have to pay a private investigator. But if I really wanted more dirt or more details on that individual, I actually knew where to start. We got to be careful with what we put on social media, because from a positive perspective, we're not talking about hacking or fraud or any type of illegal scenarios. We're talking about the fact that your information is accessible and available on social media. You have to understand that they can find you somewhere just by Googling your name. They can find photos of what you look like, your last known whereabouts, and who you affiliate with. And this will change how people view you. And the change that they view you, your first impression is the most important impression, and your first impression doesn't happen on first contact anymore. Before technology, your first impression was the first time that they met you, which is the first time that you meet them, because nobody ever heard about you before until you walked up. The only time that they can get a sense about you, where the old saying, my reputation precedes me, is when people have been talking about me, hopefully positively, before I got there. Excuse me. And that's where rumors come from. So if somebody was talking about me positively, or even in some situations negatively, before I got there, and then I start behaving the same way those reputations of me described me, then people can say, okay, I knew this was going to happen based on what I heard about so and so. These days with social media, it's a whole lot different. Your first impression is what you put online. People will come to find out who you are and know you based off of what you put online. And the more content that you have online, the more they get to know what kind of person you are. Then they're able to make a judgment of you. When they finally approach you, when they finally meet you, it's your first impression of them, but it is not their first impression of you. They already have a predetermined disposition that they're going to impose upon you. The only thing that you can do is either positively enhance that or ratify their expectations by performing the way they think you're going to perform. And here's the kicker. Your brand is not your job title. It's not your business card. It's not your Instagram bio. Your brand is you, your values, your passions, your unique story, what you say about yourself or allow yourself to be involved in social media and in person. That is your brand. So I know a lot of people who came to the show today are thinking, oh, he's going to talk about how to make my YouTube podcast better. This will work. It'll work. It'll help improve your Instagram. It'll help improve your TikTok, Twitter, whatever podcast channel you're trying to work on. But the fact is that building your brand means that whatever you want to represent, whether it's a social media platform or your own personal self or the business that you're trying to create, whatever image you're trying to create, that is something that you have to manifest, harness it, and emphasize it on a regular basis. Be consistent about it, and you have to be consistent about it in a socially positive fashion so that more individuals that are interested in the same thing that you're trying to promote will gravitate towards you. And the stats prove it. Harvard Business Reviews, they have found that customers who feel connected to a brand are 50% more valuable than those who are simply satisfied. Brands that create emotional bonds with their audience outperform competitors by 85%. So this isn't just about standing out. It's about building trust, loyalty, and a community that supports your growth. So let's be honest, how others see us can open doors, build trust, and shape our opportunities. But here's the secret. Your personal image isn't just about what's on the outside. It's a dynamic blend of mindset, habits, and the way you show up in the world. It starts with active listening. So when you put away distractions and give someone your full attention, you show them they matter. And that's where trust begins. Authentic engagements is the next step. So show up as your true self. Be willing to share your story and invite others to do the same. Even in the digital age, intentional use of social media, focusing on real conversations rather than vanity matrix, can help you build a multi-dimensional, resilient personal brand. Imagine if every challenge you faced was actually a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. That's the power of a growth mindset. It's the belief that your abilities aren't set in stone. They can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. So the next time you hit a roadblock, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And here's the magic. When you share both your wins and your struggles with your network, you build trust. You show that you're real, relatable, and always growing. And that inspires others to do the same. What matters is how you talk to yourself when you do and practice self compassion. And what do I mean by that? When that inner critic pipes up with, I always mess up, flip the script. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm getting better every day. Confidence is contagious. Let it start with you. You want to make sure that you dream big, but start small. Having that mission that you want to accomplish that's beyond the stars doesn't stop you from landing on the moon. But if you aim higher than anyone else could imagine, you're still going to fail higher than everyone else's successes. And that is going to give you the ability to recognize that you may not have reached the end goal that you were hoping for, but you still reach several goals that you weren't expecting. So break your goals into bite-sized steps and celebrate every win, no matter how tiny. Each success is a building block for your confidence. And people notice your progress. Picture yourself walking into a room as the most confident, generous networker there. How would you act? What would you say? Start modeling that version of yourself today. Do it in the mirror. Like, not an arrogant, pompous asshole. You want to be the individual that people like and appreciate and respect. Use affirmations. You want to say to yourself, I am a valuable contributor, or I handle challenges with confidence. The more you practice, the more you'll believe it, and so will everybody else around you. But one of the things, like people say, fake it till you make it. You put on the outfit that fits the job that you want, and you keep rocking that outfit till you get the job that you want. I know that that's a saying, and a lot of the times people think that that's unrealistic because you can't wear a 3-piece suit and be a janitor. True. Probably not a good look, depending on what you got to clean up. However, you could always bring a suit with you to work and still be that janitor. And then when the situation fits, you could put on that suit. There's always an opportunity for change. And one of the things that we don't think about when there's an opportunity for change is this is how things have always been. And that's not what this is about. This isn't about us recognizing that change has not happened all this time. What we're here to do is recognize that change can happen right now. And if we take control of that change and utilize it for the better, then we can see positive results in the future. But if we continue to do the same thing that has never worked before, which is not trying to change, not trying to improve, not trying to express any type of positive growth, we will continue to fail. And we're only failing because we're refusing to change. We're refusing to improve. We're refusing to follow instructions. We're refusing to follow the leader. We're refusing to cooperate and negotiate. That is why we're not seeing change. We're not satisfied with the change that we don't have. We're not satisfied with the situation that we're in, but we're not willing to do what it takes to make change. Change isn't always bad. A lot of people are afraid of change, a lot like being afraid of failure and being afraid of success. But nothing stays the same forever. The faster good gets, the faster good leaves. That's one thing that you've got to think about. So having that instant gratification of success is not always a long-term feeling. But when it takes you a while to get there and you're building a positive foundation as you go, once you get there, that level of success will be there a whole lot longer. And we understand that we all have that little voice in our heads. Make sure that yours is cheering you on. And don't forget to celebrate your wins, no matter how small they are. Every step forward is progress. You want to take care of your mind and your body. This isn't just self-indulgence, it's strategic. Whether it's meditation, journaling, or just taking a walk, these daily habits build your resilience and boost your self-worth. And remember, social media is a tool, not a measuring stick. So you want to set boundaries and focus on content that lifts you up instead of us spending so much time jumping on social media, watching individuals degrade and devalue themselves, or watching conflict and indulging ourselves with individuals that do not make positive decisions. Not only are we the company that we keep, we manifest the mentality of the information that we take in on a regular basis. So if we spend more time absorbing negative behaviors, we will spend more time reacting negatively in similar situations. So, truthfully, what does your online presence say about yourself? Here's a side question. What does your viewer history say about yourself? The things that you look at online says a lot about what kind of person you are, the things that interest you. And I know that they got a lot of guys that says, my best friend deletes my browser history when I die so that nobody knows what I'm looking at online. If you're embarrassed about your browser history, if you're not capable of sharing your browser history with the world, then you should probably change the things that you're looking at. And for those individuals that have no respect for themselves and are like, oh, I don't care, I'll share with the world all the negative things that I look at. That doesn't, just because you're proud to show that you are a negative person, doesn't mean that that's a good thing. Because again, society will judge you, and they will judge you negatively for the most positive things. So you can only understand how society will judge you negatively for negative things. You will get a lot of societal support, a lot of thumbs up fans, clickbait that'll see negative behavior with negative reactions and sassy behavior and this, that, and the third. But that's the kind of stuff that gets you slammed face down in the mud in a traffic stop. Now you're sitting in a holding cell because you got a few thousand views on something that you should not have done. Before you guys continue moving forward, take a moment to tidy up your social media. You need to really start putting some effort into purging the negative content that you allow yourself to absorb. You need to start taking the time to purge the negative content that you're allowing yourself to receive from other platforms, from other individuals on the platform. People are tagging you on stuff that's inappropriate. Delete that stuff. Unmatch with those individuals. I understand we have this thing called dark humor, but if it's not appropriate, it shouldn't be on your social media platform, because your image matters. And the things that you allow to fall on your platform represent your platform, which then represents you. You want to highlight all of your achievements and share your passions and make sure that you keep that positive. Yeah, you can show a little bit of the struggle, like the stepping stones to succeed. If you're practicing skateboarding and you show the couple of times that you fell, but you show all the times that you succeeded on your stunts. You show all the times when you did some of the most successful stunts. That's the kind of highlight reels you want to have. If you're a pianist and you show some of the times where you were practicing and didn't quite get that note right, but you want to make sure that you also highlight all of those opportunities where you put on a concert and never failed, that you had the standing ovation, that you made it to certain concert performances. You want to show highlight reels of your life in a positive light, not keg stands at house parties and dirty dancing and strip clubs and skimpy outfits and, oh, we look sexy because you look like 304s. That's not what you're trying to promote. You're not trying to, especially ladies, if y'all are trying to promote yourselves to be valuable beyond sexual desire, you're not supposed to project yourselves in a sexually desirable fashion. You're supposed to be projecting yourselves in a competent fashion where you can do things. You can do everything that a man can do. So you should be highlighting your achievements, doing things that men can't do, doing things that men do, but you do it better. You should be promoting yourself in a positive light. Because if you're only promoting yourselves on social media where individuals are only coming to look at you because of sexual desire, the exact thing you don't want to be idolized for is the exact thing that you're promoting, which kind of stops you from being able to say, oh, I want to be valued for my mind. Well, your thought process was not being projected in that last video post. It is what it is. Then the next thing that you guys want to do is you want to have consistency. Your consistency online and offline is going to build a reputation that you can be proud of. So, for example, the things that I do on this podcast, you always see me in a suit on this channel, which also means that if you passed me in life, you would recognize me because I'm the guy in the suit. You're not going to see me with some basketball shorts sagging, some sneakers, and a wife beater on. You're going to see me in a suit because this is the image and reputation that I have built over the past 30 years. And I have maintained that across this country. So you have to make sure that you carry yourself in a position that you're proud of. Individuals that do things to just for the sake of the views, if you downplay your image on social media to, I just do that for the fans, or that's my work life, or anything to that effect, it's just what I do for money. If it has to start with it's just or I only, then that's not who you really are. That's just who you pretend to be for the sake of the recognition you get on social media and the compensation that you get from that recognition, which isn't always positive. It's not just a thing. It's supposed to be a way of life. One of the things that Gen Zs actually are doing a good job of right now is they're making their employment opportunities directly in line with their lifestyle choices. So as their lifestyle choices change, so does their employment, because your job represents your life, represents your lifestyle. The image of who you represent, your employer represents your beliefs. So if you don't agree with what the company does, you don't work with that company. You're the average of the people you spend the most time with. And this is something that you guys need to pay the most attention with. When we say that a birds of a feather flock together, or you are the company that you keep, I've told you that if you have a network that is less successful than you, you have plateaued, and that is the worst network to have, because if you are the best person in your network, you have no room to grow because you're already at the top. You are the average of the people you spend the most time with. So you want to spend more time with people that are more successful than you so that you can become more successful too. That does not mean that you have to do away with all of the individuals that are less successful than you. But the ones that don't have the motivation to apply themselves, you want to be able to differentiate yourself from those individuals. You want to seek out friends and mentors who lift you up, and limit times with those who bring you down. Look at that, in case you didn't know. A strong support network is your secret weapon. So your network should be not only those who are in your cheer squad, and they're definitely not just going to be your critics, because you do need individuals to tell you when things aren't going right, let you know when mistakes are being made, but they ought to be able to be there to lift you up and support the fact that you're doing things right. You want to spend time with people who encourage you and challenge you to be your best. And you want to limit your exposure to negativity. Protect your confidence like it's gold. You want to be open about your journey and share what you're learning and ask for feedback and offer support in return. So when you create a culture of growth, everyone rises together, and that's one of the most successful networks to have. So you got a few friends that you grew up with, you're striving to be better, they're striving to be better, they help you do things to help you level up a little bit, then you turn around and do things for each one of them to help them level up a little bit. All of y'all just leveled up. Now all of y'all have more resources to help each other level up. If you had 5 friends that got together and started up a business like 5 guys and turned it into a franchise where all 5 friends have one building, and then y'all get there and sell the company to a third party where the company is running it and y'all are getting dividends off of it. Y'all just built a business. Now the 5 of y'all can get together and do the same thing again. Y'all end up with 10 businesses. But the fact is that now you're doing it with the profits off the first 5. You got to start somewhere. But if you start with a team of people that is driven to be successful, you will find yourself successful. And if you're doing it with a team of people that is trying to be successful with you, you will come to find out that the people who were there when you were not successful are the only people that deserve to be there when you are. The people who are there at the beginning, ladies, pay attention. The people who are there when you were nothing, that aided you in being something, are the people that deserve to be there once you are somebody. So those women that are looking for the finished product, you are looking in the wrong place. You don't need to look for the finished product. You need to look for the starting product. You need to look for the one with the potential to be the finished product that you're looking for and put in the effort to make it successful. It is exactly like Build-A-Bear. You cannot go in there and say, oh, I'm going to find the best one uniquely designed specifically for me. This is like Rolls Royce. No 2 Rolls Royces are made the same. Each one is specifically customized for the individual owner as requested. Takes about 6 months or so to build. You have to buy it up front. You invest in it, you wait for it to be done, and then it comes to you. Similar to that, you see a man with potential for growth, the same way you see a stock option with potential for growth. The same way you see a startup company with the potential for growth. You invest in it, you stick with it, and then once it becomes successful, that is when you're able to reap the rewards of your investment. So you got to ask yourself on a regular basis, what is your superpower? Maybe it's your creativity, your sense of humor, or your knack for solving problems. Make a list of your unique strengths and own them. Yeah, you want to make a list of your weaknesses that you can work on so that you can try to better yourself, but nobody's ever going to be perfect. And if you understand that you have a partner in the fold, you have to be able to determine that their strengths are your weaknesses. And that is another characteristic that you're looking for when you're trying to find a romantic partner in a relationship, is that person can be your rock. Think about this. You have, ladies, when you're walking with the man, he's supposed to be standing on your weak side because you got it on your strong side. He's supposed to be standing in your blind spot because you got it where you can see. Your partner is supposed to catch your back because you're not able to look behind you, but you can see what's going on in front of you. So you're supposed to be trying to find people that are going to catch the things that you can't catch so that you don't fall, so that you don't drop the ball, so that y'all don't fail together. And the only way that you're going to do that is if you change your mindset from looking for the things that do not matter to validate yourself in an insignificant fashion. Authenticity is something that's going to stand out every single time. You want to let your true self shine. Hopefully, the best parts of yourself, but even if it's the worst parts of yourself, you let your true self shine and make sure that the individuals around you are going to capitalize on improving that. And since we always understand that first impressions matter, you want to keep up with that good hygiene. You want to dress in a way that feels right for you and take care of your health. A little effort in your appearance can supercharge your confidence and your energy. And how you show up matters. So you want to dress the part for something. Try to be on time and communicate clearly. Listen actively, as we've said before. You want to speak with optimism. Always finding fault in everybody's idea, always finding a negative side to every positive scenario does not help. If you're brainstorming for solutions, recognize that if that idea is a bad idea, instead of saying it's a bad idea, add on to that idea with an alternative to if that doesn't work. So if we're not able to cross the street here, we can cross the street over there. Not we're never going to make it across the street because the traffic's not going to break. We can always keep going until the traffic breaks and then we cross over. Find another way. Remember that. And always follow through on your word. No matter how you try to do things in life, make it a habit to not make false promises. Make it a habit not to agree to do things that you're not willing to do. Make it a habit to not be a yes man where you're just agreeing for the sake of ending the conversation. Make it a habit to not just shrug your shoulders and whatever you say statement to the other person, leading the other person to believe that either you have no value in them or you're going to cooperate with their scenario, when in fact you're really just passive aggressively backing out of the conversation without having any positive effort into resolving the conflict. You want to stick to your word. We used to say back in the day that word is bond. A man is only as good as his word. A person is only as valuable as their word. If I can trust that you will do, then if you put this on me, I will do. Likewise, I should be able to say, oh, I know that's going to get done because I gave that to so-and-so. People remember how you make them feel. So always make sure that they feel positive based on your efforts. Integrity is very, very magnetic. So be honest, keep your promises, and own your mistakes. When things don't go the way you want them to go, you want to make sure that you take first person accountability for the things that didn't go right. If the outcome wasn't what you expected, if your actions had a negative impact that you did not plan on, for example, it pissed off somebody, it hurt somebody's feelings, you want to be able to recognize, I did not intend on that hurting you. Even if I intended on the outcome to happen, I did not intend on that outcome negatively impacting you. Being able to honestly project exactly what you're taking responsibility for, that is more valuable than just simply saying, I'm sorry, because I'm sorry is bullshit. That's what people say when they don't know what else to say. They're not taking responsibility for what they did when they're just saying, oh, I'm sorry. You're not sorry. Because if you were sorry, you would cut that bullshit out. You would stop doing the things that piss people off, that insults people, upsets people, and makes people not want to do stuff with you, makes people not want to be around you. If you have to say, I'm sorry for the same thing all the time, you're not really sorry. You're just going through the motions. And that's not a form of repent, which is what we've talked about on the show before. When people decide that they're going to turn over a new leaf, like Solomon in the Bible, they repent by apologizing for their actions and then not doing it again. You seek forgiveness in yourself. You seek forgiveness in the Lord that you pray to, and then you atone to your society by not making that mistake again and rectifying your past mistakes by fixing the problem that your mistakes cause to the best of your ability. And if you act character, a positive character, people trust and respect you. And that is something that is priceless. Did you know most communication is nonverbal? Stand tall and make eye contact and use open gestures. We got a lot of people that do the whole head nod thing versus the bow thing. But waving, handshake, we got the fist bump thing, but really, a genuine handshake goes a long way. Your body language speaks volumes before you even say a word. So stand up straight, shoulders back, chin up. It actually gives you a boost of energy. But if you want to boost your reputation and feel amazing, another thing I've told you guys to do plenty of times before, volunteer, help a neighbor, get involved in your community. Do it through a charity that you create where all of the money you invest in doing this is a tax write-off. Give back not only helps, it doesn't just help others, it shows that you care and people will notice that, which also builds a positive reputation for you and the company that you represent. The best version of you is a work in progress, and it's always going to be a work in progress. But you want to reflect regularly. You want to ask the people that you value most for honest feedback and keep learning new things. Your commitment to growth will inspire those around you to do the same thing. It's almost like the longest yard. You're going to take those hits and you're going to have to get out there and make that first down by yourself. And then your team will back you up. You are not going to have a Patriots team out the gate. You're going to have a Buccaneers team with a crappy offense. You're going to have a Saints team with a crappy offense. And you're going to have to find a way to make that crappy offense into a Super Bowl team the same way Drew Brees did. You're not going to be able to start off with perfection. But as you recognize improvement is needed, that's where you start making changes. And improving your personal image isn't about being perfect. It's about being authentic, intentional, and always moving forward. So when you start with one or two of the strategies that we've talked about today and watch how your confidence and your impact start to soar, then you'll start be able to using these mindsets to shift everything that you see about yourself. They're about to transform how others see you by performing these actions. And then when you focus on your growth, confidence, and positivity, you'll build stronger relationships, gain more influence, and open doors to new opportunities. So start today. Your best self is waiting for you. Here is my challenge to you. If you want to elevate your personal brand, invest in positive relationships. You want to practice active listening, engage authentically. Use the video and social media that you create to be intentional to promote who you want to be recognized as, the person that you are trying to be. And then be patient, be consistent about it, and above all, be genuine about it. Remember, the connections that you build today could be the foundation for your biggest opportunities tomorrow. Notice that the creator economy is booming, estimated at $250 billion and predicted to nearly double to $480 billion by 2027. More people than ever are building profitable personal brands by being themselves, sharing their expertise and connecting with their communities. Don't let the opportunity pass you by. I believe in the power of connection. I believe that together we can create a community where each of us shines brighter because we lift each other up. Now, I want to hear from you guys. Have you ever had an experience, good or bad, while building your personal brand? What worked? What didn't? Share your stories with us. Make sure you leave them in the comments down below. Let's learn from each other and grow together. Build brands and relationships that truly make a difference. And one more thing we're going to do today, because I tell y'all about building our personal selves up while building up our personal wealth. So for those of you that are still hanging in from the beginning of the show, I told you guys that we have some growth-based penny stocks. Now, these stocks don't pay monthly dividends. Nevertheless, they are high turnaround potential stocks, which means that here at the end of April 2025, going into May of 2025, you're going to see these penny stocks that are going to be giving you large returns, large results after your investment. So take note of some of these companies that we're about to give to you real quick. We got, wow, Desktop Metal Incorporated. And I see that you guys that are on YouTube, and apparently those of you that are on TikTok as well, you guys are going to start seeing a lot of these companies coming up onto your comment section, and you can grab them. Oncology Institute. Y'all can find these tickers and y'all can start investing in a lot of these because I'm giving you the top 10 for this month, and you guys can take a look at these and see what you want to do with them. But Desktop Metal is $4.96 a share, and Oncology Institute is $2.88 a share. We got EW Scripps Co. And EW Scripps Co. is putting up a new valuation for their share price coming soon. 270 Bio Incorporated. They're also updating their share price because there's a lot of massive growth for them. United States Anti-Money Corp. You're going to see a lot of these coming up that they're going to be successful going forward. So you want to try to take a look at them. And I always encourage you, don't just go and get it because I told you to. You go and do your research on it, follow up on it, and look at the history of growth and then determine what you want to get. Anything that's on its way down now after the tariffs is going to be on its way back up after the tariffs are over, because the tariffs are not forever. This one, Sportsman Warehouse Holdings, is $1.62 a share. Number 7 is Regulus Therapeutic Incorporated. Anything physical therapy is going to be a big thing going forward, because a lot of us who can now afford medical treatment are going to be going to all kinds of physical therapy situations. So those shares are going to start going up in physical rehabilitation centers. And that one is $2.06 a share. You got Micro Algo Incorporated. This is going to be another one. And I do believe SoundHound is the next one. You guys can use a lot of these. Yeah, SoundHound AI Incorporated. This is going to be another one that you guys can benefit from. And then we got one more that we're going to give you guys before we wrap things up today, because you can take a look at these. The 10 I gave you yesterday, the 40 I gave you the day before that, the 15 or 20 I gave you the day before that. And out of this week, I gave you about 100 different shares that you guys could have looked into, where you guys could find ways to make money for yourselves. Now, if you're looking specifically just to stick to the cash dividend stocks that I've been giving you guys, let me know, and I'll give you an update on the cash dividend stocks. But D-Wave Quantum Incorporated is the last one that we got for you for today. And these are some of the best growth rate uh, high growth, high future potential penny stocks that are existing in the April to May 2025 year. So if you guys are looking for some other opportunities to put your money in different places, just come and ask us. Pick an industry that you're interested in, drop it into the comment section. Let me know what you're looking for. And if you haven't found it, I will. You could test me on it. Test me on it. Throw something in there. See if what I find is similar to what you know. And that gives you the ability to cross check, because everything on this platform is peer reviewed, because it's all public record, public information. So if I found it, the information exists somewhere, and you can always go and find, and then you can determine if the knowledge that you have and the knowledge that I have are one and the same. And typically it should be. And more often than not, I've got more information than you do, because I do very deep dive research. Not saying that I know everything about everything, because I do not. I know enough about enough to get by, but I also focus on the things that impact me directly. So you might start off knowing more about what you're asking me about, because I didn't think about that until you asked me about it. But when I get back to you with the information, I guarantee you, I would have pulled up more knowledge than what you thought existed about that topic, because I really want to know as much stuff as I can to be the most successful that I possibly can be. And by aiding you with acquiring more information, I aid myself by gaining more knowledge, because while I don't know everything about everything, and I don't know everything about the things that don't impact me yet, everything that I learn along the way will show me about things that I need to know, so that when it does impact me, I'm ready for it. I would not be ready for it had I not looked into it prior to. So it benefits me to share knowledge with everybody else and look up new things every day, 365 different topics a year, which get, and sometimes more than that, because a lot of times I'm providing you guys with 3 to 5 topics in a single day. And the fact is that I am now making it a point to live a research-based lifestyle where I'm learning something different, learning something new, learning something more every day, and then utilizing critical thinking to collaborate all of the knowledge that I have together and reinforce my decision-making process for a more well-informed decision-making process that ultimately leads more towards the success that I strive to achieve. Once I get there, there's nothing left to do but enjoy the success that I have built. But you're less likely to meet catastrophic failure, and you're less likely to experience mistakes if you spend less time allowing other people to drive your outcome without being directly involved in the decision-making process. And you should only be involved in a decision-making process if you are well informed about the decision that needs to be made. Just having the right to vote is not nearly as important as having the knowledge to vote for the right thing. It wouldn't be a popularity contest if everybody was informed. It would be a informed decision-making process. But nobody wants to be informed. Nobody cares to put in that effort. Once you change that mentality, you know something, I'm gonna tell you something real quick on a side note. If you ever get into a lawsuit with somebody and the lawyer comes and tries to settle with you, they did a background check on you before they came to talk to you. They know what your finances are. They know what kind of catastrophic situations you have. And they know that because you're financially desperate, they can undersell you with the threat that they'll drag this out 3 years in court. Because if in the event that you need this, you'll take less to get something now instead of getting what you deserve by waiting the long drawn out process. You get that also in negotiations, contracts, businesses. They do research on you before they negotiate a deal, because while they might need your product, you might need their money, and you might need their money more than they need your product. They might offer you the money that you want, but they might ask you for more product than you were originally willing to give, because you're desperately in need of the quantity of money you're asking for. Individuals can use your weaknesses, your failures as in their negotiation, because the person that benefits the most in a negotiation is the person with the most leverage. So by not putting negativity online about yourself, by not expressing inappropriateness, by not allowing the leverage to be broadcasted where people can utilize that leverage against you, you're building a more stable and secure brand where they just know, hey, you got it going. It's just going. When they look you up, they don't find anything. When they dig, they don't see nothing, which puts them in a position where they can't say nothing, which prevents them from having more leverage in the deal than what they're willing to offer versus what you're willing to accept. Don't give somebody the opportunity to take advantage of you by making yourself look like a dumbass on social media. Don't give somebody the leverage by degrading and devaluing yourself on social media. Don't give somebody leverage by doing extremely stupid things that you are too embarrassed for people to know about so that somebody can blackmail you because of something that they know that you did, which puts you in a position to now have your reputation on the line because society will look down on you for keeping a secret, not because the secret is good or bad. It's just because it was a secret. It was so morally unethical for you that you didn't want anybody else to know about it. I say this the same thing about relationships. If you build the type of fully transparent relationship where you're willing to disclose 100% to your partner the way your partner is willing to disclose to you, and I'm not going to say 100%, I'm going to dial it back and say about 90% full disclosure, because there are some things you're just not going to tell your partner. But the fact is that if you're willing to disclose to them the same way you expect them to disclose to you, and you make that a habit in your relationship, your partner is not going to feel comfortable with doing something that he or she is not going to be able to tell you, which reduces unfaithful behavior. Because if I can't tell my girl that I was at a strip club with a lap dancer in my face, then I'm not going. If she's not going to be happy with that, I don't want to deal with her finding out about that. I'm not going to do it. But if I'm capable of telling her, oh yeah, we're going to go to the strip club and there's going to be dancers in my face and all this other stuff, and she's going to be cool with that, that's a different story. But if that type of conversation is going to spark an argument, if that type of conversation is going to put me in the proverbial doghouse, I'm not going to have that conversation, which means I'm not going to perform that action. We're not going to do the things that are going to negatively jeopardize the success of our agenda. If our agenda is maintaining a conflict-free, stable relationship, we're not going to make decisions, hopefully, that are going to compromise that. So as soon as we have that one friend that says, hey, let's go do something that in result will negatively impact my relationship, not going. Like we had one of those scenarios like Kevin Hart was doing on that stand-up comedy thing where his homeboy came and he was on a speakerphone and the dude was talking about all the stuff while his wife was in the passenger seat. It was a skit. I don't know how real the situation really happened, but think about it. His homeboy called and he's in the girl with his car and he knows that he has performed things with his homeboy that he's not supposed to talk to his girl about. End of the day, he shouldn't even be answering the phone because you already know that when you pick this phone up, it's going to be a problem. You got the kind of friend that don't hold water. So, if you did something that's supposed to be a secret, that's the friend that's going to talk about it first. Since you know that, you don't do anything compromising with that friend because that friend is going to tell the people that you don't want to know about that situation. They're going to be the first people that he tells. So that's the friend that you don't do anything wrong with. That's the friend that you don't take places. I'm not saying that you can't have friends. I'm just saying that if you've got situations in your life that requires you to bury things, literally, if you got situations in your life that requires you to cover things up, literally, if you've got situations in your life that might require a search warrant later, you're not supposed to have snitches in your group that is going to talk about the stuff that went down. If whatever you got going on will compromise your future, you don't want that person to know about that past. So you've got to vet the group that you got. Full disclosure comes from no judgment, no retaliation, and complete immunity. That's where full disclosure comes from. But full disclosure has a responsibility of non-disclosure. And that's why we were talking about on the show a few times before over the past couple of weeks about guys having non-disclosure agreements with their girl. Hey, these women that want transparent men, fellas, NDA form. Sure, I'll start talking to you about some deep, dark secrets as long as you ain't talking about it. Sign here. Then we can start really getting into some classified information. Long as you're not disclosing to her any crimes that could void the non-disclosure agreement, hey, whatever you tell her, she can't tell nobody else. So if you find out that somebody else knows that she's only supposed to be the person that knows, that's a wrap, bro. But again, this is a situation where there is no second chances. If we're doing NDA contracts and we're doing full disclosure and we're talking about security that cannot be breached, the one time it's breached, it's not, oh, I did it because I was angry. You sabotaged your whole future with me because of that one time you was angry. There are no redos. There is no, oh, I forgive you for embarrassing my entire estate, for ruining my reputation because you were mad. No, you ruined my reputation and you tanked our entire relationship with that one comment. And there is no coming back. There is no fixing it. You can't fix it. It's out there now. What society does. I have to adapt to that. And part of my collateral damage is excluding your rights to this information. Therefore, you have to be removed from the network. You breach security in the White House. They remove you from the White House. And there ain't no coming back. So that's all I got for you guys for today. I want to thank you guys for coming to the show. A special shout out to those of you that's watching us on Twitter and Twitch. And special shout out to Bayside, Mr. Satellite, Red Void, Omni81, Usman, Max Opposer, and let's see, the gentleman that came up today, Glenn Max Hamado. Special shout out to you guys for coming to the show. We are about 68% male following. This is a male-driven podcast from a male perspective. Ladies, y'all can keep coming to the show because y'all going to learn a lot of things. And y'all, not only will you learn a lot of things, you'll be able to do a lot of things because the information and advice that I give is not specifically for the fellas. The fellas are going to improve themselves to become higher value men for you by taking this advice. But ladies, y'all can take this exact same advice and make yourselves more successful as well, because women can do everything that men can do and potentially do it better because women are more focused on their own personal success and men are more focused on sex more often than not. So at the end of the day, sex destroys presidencies, and men have not learned that yet. So first person accountability, ladies, y'all can come in here and y'all can be multi-millionaires following this podcast, where y'all can start becoming a group of women that will make yourselves rich without having to get it from divorce. I'd love to see that happen. So I'm going to give you all the advice and information that you need to do that. And along the way, you guys let me know what's going on. However, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, ladies, I'm going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. Now, make sure that you guys come back for tomorrow night's show because we're going to be doing reactions to the questions and comments from the fans. Feel free to ask as many questions as y'all like. Keep the questions reasonably appropriate or educationally based, and I'll be able to provide you guys with some reasonable and logical answers, rational, logical answers. Thank you guys for coming to the show tonight. I'm your host, Xander. Thank you for coming to This and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. Oh, and before I go, any comments that continue to come into the comment section throughout the outro of the show from Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube will be reasonably shown in the outro of the show live as long as those comments are appropriate. So feel free, just like Glenn did, to throw your comments into the show, even if you're just giving a special shout out to your homies, repping your city, your state, your country. Throw those into the comment section, and I'll throw those up on the screen as we walk out of the show tonight. So thank you guys very much, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not mounted on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.